Hi, and welcome to Dramatic Knits. My name is Steve, also known as Dramatic Knits.
And I'm Callie, also known as Calsters.
And today is Sunday, September 20th, 2015. This is episode 225. If you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back one more week. And if you're new, hopefully you enjoyed today's show and you'll come back in the future. I will start off by saying sorry if there's any background noise with cars, motorcycles, or cicadas that I hear that just started to play their joyful tune in the tree. We do have the windows open. It's relatively nice, so get some nice fall fresh air in the house, even though it's a little bit warmer today, but not out. It's nice. What is it at? It's at 74, so it's not too bad. So yeah, Kelly's back with us this week. That's always fun, and we like having her. So, let's just jump right in with a quick week in review. I think this is going to be a relatively short show on both our ends, so I taught all week. It was a long week. If it's already long in September, just wait till second semester. Anyway, I think it also is the days are getting much shorter here. It's getting darker much sooner. And we haven't even hit daylight savings time yet, so, you know, that's always fun. About 7:30 anymore. Cars. Anyway, so taught and whatnot. Nothing major really happening. Had to give that computer test that I was talking about last week, and that was a holy mess the first day because no one knew what they were doing, and they had tech on hand, and then tech never returned from lunch, even though we tested all day, and then they had to call them in, and yeah. They never can trust one person to know how to do everything, so, you know, the tech has to be able to install the program on their computers, but they don't actually know anything about running the software. That's our instructional coach's job, but then they don't know anything about proctoring or actually giving the exam to the students, because that's our job. But there's nobody who knows how any of those things communicate with one another. You know what I'm saying? So, lack of communication, it's key. So, that was that. And, yesterday, Leading Men Fiber Arts vended at Fiber in the Park in Earlville, Illinois. So, I know a couple of you stopped by that said that you watched the show, so thank you so much for stopping by and saying hi. It was just me by my lonesome. Andy had to work yesterday, but we had a nice little setup, and it was a nice, relaxing show. It was a beautiful day. It rained very hard the night before, and I was a little worried, but it did rain for about 10 minutes. It came in and left very quickly, and it wasn't even a hard rain. And after that, it was just sunny and beautiful. In fact, I got like a half sunburn because I was on the end of the pavilion, so the half of me that was facing the into the pavilion didn't get sunburned, but I eventually had to move my seat to the other end of my booth because I was like, I can't do this anymore. I went all summer without getting this dome fried, and that's like the first summer ever since I've been bald that I did not get a sunburn, and then due to a show I got sunburned. So it's not that bad though. I was worried. So the show was very relaxing. It was very nice. It was nice to not be a retreat or a major event show where you have mad rushes of people. It was just, you know, people coming and perusing, and it was in the middle of cornfields and a park, and it was nice. So I foresee ourselves doing that show again. It was a good little one-day show. Not too far away. It was only about 2 hours away from me, so that's pretty much been about my week. Nothing too exciting. We have an Apple and Pork Festival coming up next weekend here, so it's going to be all the rage, all the apple and all the pork all the time next weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Callie and I already made plans. We're going to apple and pork it up next Saturday afternoon.
Yes.
And now that my mom's in town, she's having her friend and her friend's husband come into town, and then Andy's dad's supposed to be coming into town, so it's going to be a crazy weekend next weekend. But it'll be good.
And another weekend where I'll be sleep deprived.
I slept 12 hours last night. I needed it.
My past 2 weeks have been really busy, really stressful, and really crazy. So I'm not going to get into specifics with that. My cousin came in from Kansas this week, Kansas City to be exact, and she came in Friday night. I did my first origami owl party with 2 other ladies that sell Tupperware and Perfectly Posh. And it went okay. Yesterday I had to work. Was up at 5 a.m. and we had a event at our local college, and it was from 9 to noon, and so we had about 45 people come through, which is not bad, but for the amount of effort that it takes, plus the time away from the office, I wish we would have had more. So I think that's going to be another one of those things where we're going to look at it and see if it's worth doing again next year. Because we try to do effective
programs.
What might have held back was on Friday night it rained a whole bunch. But the other thing is that if you don't know, this event was autumnal festival at a horticultural center in Bloomington Normal, and the thing of it is that it's always on the same weekend as Morton Pumpkin Festival. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, well, what's the difference? Well, Morton, Illinois happens to be the pumpkin capital of the world. They produce the most pumpkins. If you buy any can of like Libby's pumpkin, like canned pumpkin, it's made in Morton. And so they do these huge pumpkin days where it's all pumpkin everything. It's pumpkin on pumpkin, and it's like, it's a huge deal. There's over like 30 or 40,000 people that come to it every year, and it's the same weekend. So to me, I kind of feel like if we know that people are going to be going to that, and it's kid friendly, and it's free for most everything that you do, and this you have to pay for, it's kind of like, well, do we continue to do this and struggle to get numbers, or do we take this weekend off and just let it go?
Yeah. Well, it's just like you guys wouldn't schedule anything during Apple and Pork.
Right.
You know? Because it's a half hour away, and, if you're going to do something that weekend and you're within a half hour's drive, most people come out to our town of 7,500 people or 7,300 people, and we probably get 100,000 people coming through this town next weekend. So
it's on the same scale. The Morton Pumpkin Festival is on the same scale as Apple and Pork. Yeah. So I think that's just something to review for next year. It was a good time had by all, though. The kids were interesting and fun. Semi. So that went on, and then after that, my cousin Marcia was also in town from Louisville, and she was looking at a new embroidery and regular sewing machine. And it is a Bernina 790. If any of you quilt or are sewers as well, you know the price tag on that is equivalent to that of a new car, basically. A nicely pre-owned car, because it does everything except for like drive. So she wanted to test it out before she bought it, and she hasn't made up her mind. She lives in Louisville, and I told her, I said, I think it would be best if you bought it down there, because if anything goes wrong, then they can service for you closer to your house. And really, she's so close to Paducah, which is the quilting capital of the world, then why wouldn't you just buy it there? Mm-hmm. So, but that was good. My cousin and I went to go see a movie last night, and basically I was up from 5 o'clock yesterday morning till 2 this morning. So I'm a little bit tired. So I apologize in advance.
She came over because she was in town, and I wasn't ready to record. I had to help my mom this morning and sister move some stuff into a storage unit. And then she was here by the time I got back, and then we had to go grocery shopping. Somebody ended up taking a nap while we were grocery shopping, which means she needed it.
The dogs also woke me up, and I forgot where I was at temporarily, and I was just like, I might have yelled some profanity.
Sleep is a good thing, though. Sleep is definitely a good thing. I have not slept. I went to bed at 8:45 last night. I was so exhausted because I had to get up at 4:30 yesterday, and I couldn't fall asleep till after midnight Friday night. So I went to sleep at 8:45 and woke up at 8:45 this morning. All right, let's get to the knitting. What's taking a bow? I got a big old nothing. Sorry.
But you have a hoe.
I do, but I'll get there.
I also have nothing.
So let's get to what's performing this week. Let me go through what's on my lap first, even though it's the last on my list. Sorry, I warned you about the motorcycles. This I worked on at Fiber in the Park yesterday. I actually didn't work on it as much as I wanted to. I don't know. I'd knit for a row or two, and then I'd put it down, and I was just like, I was helping people, or I'd get up and readjust things in the booth, and stuff like that. So, I brought out my Rushed Laziness Boomerang. So here it is. It's growing.
It's cute.
And
it's very purple.
It's very pinky purple. It's interesting for, I was working on this at Fiber in the Park, a single guy working in a booth, right? It's not very pink, but again, you can see that I'm knitting this from one of my sock links. You can see the garter stitch texture being a bit wonky. This is as much of the sock link as I have left. So I did bring needles because I think I'm going to do a pair of socks out of a sock link so people can actually see. I want to do one sock and leave it unblocked and then block one so you can see the difference of how it happens. But need to finish this first. So that's going. Excuse me. Ugh. Portage by Melissa Shiswari. That is my sweater for our Sweater Knit Along, and I did not work on it much this week, but I did work on it a little bit. Didn't work on really much of anything. I am so busy with the shop, it's not even funny. So, yeah, I really didn't work on it much. Like, 2 or 3 rows. See under that, there's a little bit. But this is the back detail, which is what's interesting. And then I have tried it on though, and I think it's going to be a very nice fit. So, and I know the fronts don't look very big. But there's a whole big garter stitch button band collar that's put on it. So I'm still on ball number 3, but these are 50-gram balls, and there's not much of this one left. And that again, I'm really sorry, guys. I yawned all through last week's episode. Last week's episode was called Yawn Fest. The third thing is Polyphony by Sarah Berghardt Abram. I'm using Leading Men Fiber Arts, Show Stealer, and Copper Cloud, Midnight Rendezvous, and Eternal Kiss. I'm still on the Copper Cloud. I still need to find the right project bag with it in. And
who's the bag whore now?
Yeah. So again, not much. Couple of rows. But it is what it is. Sorry. I'm very, very busy. It's a give and take, right? The third thing is the Geology shawl, and I'm sorry, I'm not giving you needle sizes, I don't think, on any of this, but you can check it up on my project pages. The Geology shawl by Very Busy Monkey, I'm using Madeline Tosh Merino Light in the Fog colorway, and I did do a little bit of work on this one. I think I finished this section. I've got to do a garter stitch in between, but this kind of whole zigzagging section, so... And I know this is on a size 6 because I'm using my signatures. And next is the Mix It Up that I'm doing for the local alpaca farm. I'm using Millspun Fingering Weight in white, natural white, and then I dyed up another skein in blue steel. I did work on this one a little bit. It's kind of curling a little bit, but it is a dense shawl because this is being knit on size 3s. There we go. And as you can see, there's different colors on either end because you knit. It's like kind of like short rows with one color, and then you push all your stitches to the other side and do short rows with the other color. I've never done a construction like this, but it's very interesting. So that's that. And the last thing is my hoe. I did finish my first sock of the A River Runs Through It colorway from Lollipop Yarns in her tradition base. And I did not get much time to knit at work again this week. That dang grading. But I did Kitchener the toe right before we sat down and pressed the record button. So here's the first one. And I knit this on a size 1.5 US, 2.25 millimeters. And I did not do an afterthought heel on this one. I just did a typical stockinette heel flap and turn the heel with the gusset. So, but I don't think it. I think it looks okay. It doesn't, because it's not so contrasting of colors. I don't think that this draws your attention to the fact that there's wider stripes down the heel. And even if there were, I don't really care. No one's gonna see these other than me in my house during the winter, unless I do give these to my quote-unquote father-in-law. I was thinking I might give them to Andy's dad for Christmas. So we'll see though. But I like these. So, my first time knitting Lollipop. If you can get your hands on it, it's good stuff. So, that's that. And that's everything that I'm working on. Just that.
Very cool. Well, I'm only working on one project actively, and that would be the Hitafude cardigan. Sorry. Killing it. I'm using Leading Men Fiber Arts Soliloquy base and the Raspberry Fizz. Raspberry Parfait. I think it should be Raspberry Fizz.
I think you need to come up with a color with that color and maybe one or two other ones, and then you can call it Raspberry Fizz.
Oh, yeah, that would.
We can make a Raspberry Fizz colorway, you know.
No, I would.
Your colorways do very well, the two that you've designed.
Thank you. Thank you. I would. As a side tangent, there's a. Also side tangent for all of you too. There's a little ice cream place in Poplar Bluff, Missouri. It's on the outskirts of Poplar Bluff. It's called the Cowshed. And if you've been there, I haven't been there in probably at least 10 years. But when I was little, when my grandma used to live in Corning, Arkansas, which Poplar Bluff is kind of like basically the next big town. Corning's in Arkansas, but
yeah.
Anywho, so we used to stop there and get ice cream and stuff, but they used to have a brown cow, which is Coke or Pepsi poured over white ice cream, and then they had an orange cow, which was great, orange crush, and purple cow, which was their signature, was grape crush soda over vanilla. So maybe we could do Raspberry Fizz with white.
Maybe. I could try it.
Anywho, that was just me thinking out loud. But it is that colorway, so we've already discussed that. But it's on size 4 US 3.75 millimeter. And this is my waist yarn for cast on Chaz.
Provisional cast on.
Thank you. Killing it today. So I really just took this out and I did one row. We had an all-team meeting during the week that I was gone. And so I took it with me, but I ended up not knitting on it during all-team meeting for the past 2 years. I've been able to knit on things during the thing. And it's not like they said I couldn't this year, but it was more hands-on and it was a really great meeting. So I was really happy. It's definitely one of those things to get you revved up about the new year. And actually, on Thursday, I celebrated my 3-year work anniversary as well. So
very nice. Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, what's in rehearsal? Like I said, maybe in the next month, when I finish this at shows, I will be selecting another sock blank to do some basic socks. But other than that, nothing's close to being done. So.
I have nothing.
Well, because you've got 2 large projects. You got that and your blanket, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
And that baby blanket. How's that weaving in at the ends?
It's going.
Okay. Is the kid 6 now, or?
No.
Oh.
She's not 1 just yet.
All right.
I did see her, though, yesterday.
Did you?
Yep. I think it'll still fit her.
That's good. Behind the scenes, my spinning. This morning, in fact, I finished spinning the second 2 ounces of Into the World BFL in the Don't Blink colorway. So I have both my bobbins ready to go. I just need to ply it up this week, so I should have some finished yarn to show you, and then I can ship it off to Carla. So this is a commission spin. And so don't know exactly what I'll be spinning next, because I'll spin something from my stash, but I don't know what it will be quite yet. So that's where my spinning's going, and that was a 2-ply. It will be 2-ply, and it's been fractally spun. All right, in the spotlight, what are we watching and reading? I don't know if I watched any of Once Upon a Time this week, and we have not caught up on the Great British Baking Show, but I did catch up on 2 episodes of The Strain. I think there's only one more episode this season, because after that, I think is... Well, no, because it's not on the same day, but I know that American Horror Story Hotel is coming out very, very soon, another week or 2, starring Lady Gaga, and I don't really know how I feel about that, but we'll see. I'm also reading a lot. I'm still listening to The Good, the Bad, and the Undead by Kim Harrison. It's alright. I actually haven't listened to too much of it, because that's what I listen to when I spin, and I haven't had a whole lot of time up in the office to spin this week. I'm listening to, and almost done, I have like 20 minutes left to go, but I didn't listen to it on the way home yesterday. Cause of Death by Patricia Cornwell. That's what I've been listening to and from work. It's not been as action-packed as the other Patricia Cornwell novel that I read a couple years ago. I think that was called From Potter's Field. That was a bit more action. This is more kind of political, I think, and a little bit more of whodunit rather than trying to catch somebody. So, I don't know. And then at work, during silent reading, I'm reading The Magic Cottage by James Herbert, and enjoying that. It's getting a little weird. It's kind of a retro novel. I think it's from the 70s or 80s, so that's that. I did just download a new book to my iPhone to listen to and from work, and that is James Patterson's Double Cross. Again, pulled it from my shelf, downloaded it, so I'll be taking this into my school library, or my classroom library, so kids can read it, which is fun. I've actually have quite a few kids reading books that I've recently read or whatnot, so I'm like, oh, I just read that last year. I really should be doing more of that, but I've decided that I'm probably going to actually, the books that I read in class during SSR, I'm going to start picking from our school library and reading YA so that I can actually be up on some of the novels that are part of like the Abe Lincoln Book Awards, which is I'm pretty sure that's just Illinois, but yes, it's kind of voted on by kids for the next school year, and then they get to read, and there's like 15 or 30 books I think a year that are on that. So
there used to be an essay component of it where you could write a book review of it, and if yours was selected as the winner, you got like the whole reading list.
Yeah, it might be something like that. I'm not sure. I just know there's an incentive for our kids if they read so many of them throughout the school year. So
that's neat.
That's all that I am watching or reading.
So as far as reading, I haven't really read anything lately. I did get a few leadership books from my leadership class that I need to read. It's not like you have to, but I would like to. But as far as things that I'm watching, last night, as I had mentioned before, my cousin and I went to go see a movie, And I was telling Andy this before you got here, because Andy and I were hanging out for a little bit. And I said, I really wanted to go see the one with Johnny Depp, and it's about the mafia. And, because I love mob wives and such. So, that was the movie I thought we were going to see. No, it's not the movie that we went to go see. So that movie is very, language intense and graphic and all of that. We went to go see this movie called The War Room. And I don't know if you heard me talking about it. Yeah. So I thought it was the same movie. It wasn't. It was a faith-based Christian movie. And it was really good. I have no complaints about the movie. It was just definitely not what I expected when I sat down in the theater. And there was only 6 of us that watched it. It was me and my cousin, husband and wife, and 2 girls that were sitting behind all of us. And I was like, But to be fair, the movie time wasn't until 10 o'clock. We got there at 9:40. Black Mass had already started. I didn't know that was the one that I wanted to go see, but we wanted to go see Straight Outta Compton as our original movie. And my grandma is so sweet. She lives in the same town that Steve and Andy do. And we went back to the house to drop off leftovers at the house, and she was like, "Oh, what movie are you girls going to go see?" And I said Straight Outta Compton. And she was like, "Oh, well, let me go get the paper and see if it's playing here in town." Which, sidebar, it will never play in this town because, well, this town has some racial divides. And so we had to wait for Grandma to get the newspaper out, and then she read all of the movie titles, and I was like, "Nope, not here." And so, it was funny because, Grandma has no idea what Straight Outta Compton is about. And she was like, "Well, I bet that they're playing it over here." No. So anyways, we went to go see that. And it was really good. I highly recommend it. It's about how prayer can change the way you live your life. If that's not something you're into, then just pass. But it was a good movie. I mean, I think you've just got to be of the mindset that no one's going to die in it. But, for the first 5 minutes, I was like, wow, it's not like the previews that I saw. Clothes and time periods just a little off. So, needless to say,
it did not star Johnny Depp, nor did it have anything to do with the mob.
Yeah. So, that was my fault. That was my bad. But anyhow,
you were tired.
I was so tired. But I haven't really watched anything of particular. My aunt and uncle were drinking last night. We were at their house before we went over and saw the 70s version of anime / take on the Lord of the Rings trilogy. It's called The Wizards, and I was like, no. It was awful. It was degrading, and I was like, I cannot believe I am watching this, nor is someone telling me that I need to watch this. My life is not complete if I have not seen this movie. I was doing just fine, and I didn't watch it, and I'm still doing just fine, so. But anywho, moving on.
I have no stash enhancement this week. Do you?
I don't.
Alright, we have nothing to review for you this week, so we're going to go into a round of applause. The first thing is, I am so sorry, but I forgot to draw for the Breathless Kush giveaway, the yarn that we had to give away from Shalimar Yarns last week, so I went ahead and changed the date in the thread and left the thread open, which we pulled for a winner, and did I lock it? I think I did. Anyway, I can check that afterwards, but now I really want to know. So, and then I get the Rainbow Spinny Wheel of Death, of course. But we did draw for a winner before we hit the record button, and The yarn was generously given to me from Shalimar Yarns at Stitches Midwest, and it's Shalimar Yarns Breathless Cush, which is a bulky weight, and it is 75% superwash merino, 15% cashmere, 10% silk, 145 yards, and this is in the black truffle colorway. And then, of course, I said I was going to give my leftovers of the Neptune colorway that I did the Brightside Cowl by Laura Ayler. So I was saying if you wanted to do Brightside, you could put these two colors together. So, yep, I locked it because I'm on top of my game.
Oh, yeah, because remember it said, do you want to talk like a pirate?
Oh, that's right. I had no idea what that was all about, but Kelly informed me that. I mean, I've heard of Talk Like a Pirate Day, but she informed me that if you checked that, it would take everything you typed and transform it into piratey talk. Anyway, so the winner of the Breathless Cush is number 84, and that was Bella Donna 37, and that's Donna from Mountain View, California. Like cauliflower? I don't know. California, Donna, I'm sorry, I can't speak. And she really, I said, what colorway of Shalimar Yarns do you really like? She said Copper Pennies. This is not Copper Pennies, but hopefully you will enjoy some Black Truffle and some Neptune if you choose to accent color, whatever you do. So, Donna, please, Belladonna 37, please get in contact with me through Ravelry. Shoot me a message, Dramatic Knits, with your first and last name and mailing address, and I'll get that out to you as soon as I can. So, thank you for everyone who entered.
Very cool. Lots of good things going on
Yep.
on our boards.
Mm-hmm. We also have a coupon code for bags by Awesome Granny. 10% off until the end of the month, September 30th, so just another 10 days or so. If you use the coupon code DramaticKnits10, you can get 10% off your order through the end of the month. And you can find her on Etsy. We have also linked to her shop in our show notes, which can be found at DramaticKnits.com. So thank you, Darlene, so much for giving us that coupon code.
That was a great coupon code. So, as Steve mentioned before, and I'm doing the Hitafude cardigan, we do have a sweater knit along going on. And it started on July 1. Your sweater must have been started on or after July 1 of this year. And it can be any size, excuse me. It can be any, sorry.
She's out of practice. And the motorcycle.
And I was just like, is it ever going to end? The motorcycle. It can be any gauge yarn. It does have to be an adult size sweater, and it does have to be classified in Ravelry as a sweater or cardigan. It cannot be a poncho. It cannot be a youth-sized item. It must be an adult-sized item. You can use any base of Leading Man Fiber Arts and get an extra ticket entry.
Entry, yeah. You know, we don't really give tickets out. But just trying to be clear for clarity's sake.
So anyways.
There's the show title, because I had another one and I forgot what it was and I didn't write it down, so.
So anyways, if you get one entry per finished item, you can enter multiple items. You get 2 entries in if you do any size or any base of Leading Man Fiber Arts. If you have any questions, please direct them to me, either in the thread or in a personal message, and I will try to answer them in a timely manner. And yes.
We also want to tell you to enter all your finished objects, no matter what it is, and when you started it, into the September 2015 Race to the Finished Object Contest. The only stipulation is that you must be a member of the group, and your project must be finished sometime in this month, and you need to post a picture.
I did have one other thing about the sweater knit along. It goes until October 31st. So even if you are new to the podcast or life has just been crazy busy, there's still plenty of time to get a sweater started and finished.
Java Jenny just posted that she's hoping to get a second sweater on the needles this week, so.
Yes.
But yes, anything you do finish this month, no matter what it is, you can put it into the Race to the Finished Object Contest. We do have 2 wonderful prizes. The first is a project bag from Front Range Bags. So thank you so much, Front Range Bags, for that donation. And the second is any pattern that is giftable through Ravelry from our featured designer, who is Sarah Berghart Abram. We did get in contact with a new designer, so I'm really excited to be showcasing them. They've signed up for the next 6 months, so I'll tell you more about them once we hit next month in October. So that's good. All right. I think that's pretty much it for our regularly scheduled show, unless you have anything you'd like to add.
I did get selected from the SSK lottery to attend, and I do have time off already approved, so I will be attending SSK next year.
That's awesome for you.
Yeah.
So we're going to move into center stage. I don't have very much to tell you about. I told you about vending at Fiber in the Park, so enjoyed that, and that was a lot of fun.
Day of Sounds in Central Illinois.
Yeah. That's my phone. If you heard that buzzing. So Fiber in the Park was a lot of fun. Our next show is in 2 weeks. We'll be at Vogue Knitting Live Chicago. And the week after that, we will be at Stash Market in Yorkville, Illinois. And then the following week, I'm going to go ahead and announce it because I had 2 people tell me at Fiber in the Park that they saw our name in a newsletter that we will be vending the show, even though this show has not said that I'm vending, which is Bishop Hill Fiber Guild's annual spin-in in Peoria, Illinois. We will be there in the 17th, I believe, of October, and that's not actually in Peoria. It's one of the towns right outside of Peoria, I think. Somewhere. I'll link it in the show notes. But it's right outside the Peoria area at one of the middle schools. So, yeah, I had 2 people go, oh, I'm going to be seeing you next month. And I was like, oh, really? Where? And they're like, at the spin-in. And I was like, oh, I'm vending it? Because I haven't gotten the official yes. But, so, guess we'll be there. I had planned on being there, but... and then the following week after that, we'll be up in Ann Arbor, Michigan at the Fiber Expo. So those are our upcoming shows. I do want to remind you that the Curalyn hat, designed by Delusional Knitter out of some Leading Men Fiber Arts callback in the Metamorphosis colorway. Of course, you could choose whatever colorway you wanted, or you could choose whatever yarn you wanted realistically too. But she has given us a generous coupon code for 50% off the hat pattern, which retails for $3. So you can get it for $1.50 by using the coupon code Dramatic Knits. The D and K is capital, and you have until the end of the month, so 9/30, 10 more days to use that coupon code. And that'll be in the show notes as well. So I think that's pretty much about it. Just keep an eye on the shop if you're not always already following me on Instagram as Leading Men Fiber Arts, or following the Facebook group Leading Men Fiber Arts. That's the best 2 places to stay up to date on updates and stuff. Also, we'd love it if you'd come join our Ravelry group for Leading Men Fiber Arts, and show us what you're knitting over there and what you're finishing, and for all things LMFA over there. So we'd enjoy it if you'd come say hi over there as well. In terms of the podcast, come on over to the Dramatic Knits video podcast group and join over there as well. I think we broke 1,600 people over there a little while ago, so just keep climbing those numbers and growing our community. We're so glad that we're able to podcast and continue podcasting. We love doing it for you guys and ourselves as well. So we love seeing the community grow and seeing people starting threads and starting their own conversations. Feel free to start threads in the group. You are more than welcome. It is our group, the collective we. So, as always, you can find the show notes as well as the video on our blog, which is dramaticknits.com. You can also watch us on iTunes and subscribe there, or you can watch us on YouTube and subscribe there as well. So I think that's pretty much about it this week.
I think so.
So until next week,
we hope you
knit something dramatic.